kids, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads, and I'm going to show you how to use the materials from your kids' bead box to make a fun knotted bracelet. So we're going to learn to tie knots if you don't know how. You can make this into an anklet for summer. You can make it into a bracelet that wraps around multiple times. It's a great way to learn how to count as well as tie knots and maybe even make a pattern, whether or not that's an ABC pattern or an AB pattern. Join me in having fun and gather up some materials of your waxed linen cording, that roll of brown thread, and then also a pair of scissors and some beads from your selection. So if you're having trouble picking which beads to use, here's a bracelet that my 10-year-old daughter made using some bigger beads, and here's one that my 5-year-old son made working with some of the bigger beads here, learning how to tie his knots and working on that skill. I have on my bead mat, you'll need one of your buttons, and I have again that waxed linen cord. The easiest thing to do, if you know that you're going to be tying a lot of knots, you'll want more cord. If you think you're going to be doing bigger beads and tying not as many knots, you don't need quite as much cord. Also remember to keep all your scraps of your waxed linen cord. We'll have a bracelet design or a little key fob working with that. So what I'm going to do is take my bead box, and I'm going to take my thread to the end of my bead box here and measure 1, 2, 3, and 4 times the length of my bead box. Taking my thread then, I'm going to turn it so that way my ends meet after I cut that off of my roll. I'm going to make it so that it has a little loop in the bottom, and I'm going to pick up my button. Take your button, and I'm going to go with it kind of curved side down so it looks like your cereal bowl got flipped upside down. And what's going to happen is that cord is going to go right into that little button and hang out along the back. We want to make sure that on the right side you have just as much thread as you have on the left. So this right side is the same length of the left. You can practice and make sure by holding those thread ends and pulling them and pulling them and pulling and pulling and pulling till you make sure that your button is in the middle. After you make sure your button is in the middle, we're going to tie a knot. So you might need parents' help for this, but what we're going to do is we're going to take one string and cross it over top of the other string. Whatever string is crossed over the top needs to go underneath the other string and through that middle and pull. Then we're going to pull that into a knot. Now, here comes the fun part. It doesn't matter if you use the right cord or the left cord, you're going to pick up your first bead. I have some 6 OC beads here, some 4mm check glass, some of my metal beads, and some of my plain rounds. I'm going to put a bead on one side of my cord, and then I'm going to tie another knot. So again, one side of my cord, I'm going to use my left one, goes over the top of the cord on the right side. Holding that up just a little bit, we're going to tuck that left cord underneath the right cord and through that loop and pull. Then what I'm going to do is hold both sides and pull my cord. And now my bead is on my one side. Putting that down, grab your next bead. I'm going to put this on my left side just to have a little fun. Putting my bead on my left side, I'm going to let it go up next to my button. Grab my cord. Again, we'll stick with the left. My left thread is going to go over top of my right thread. Pull it up a little bit and tuck that left cord that's over the top through that loophole that we just made. And now pull it nice and tight. My 5-year-old successfully learned how to actually tie a loop while we were doing this. You can go in then and add a bigger bead. And then again, that left cord goes over top of the right one. Hold up that cord and tuck that left cord that's over the top through the middle and pull. I'm going to show you one more time. This time I'll put on my flower. I'm going to put my flower bead on. Let that go up to there. My flower bead side goes over top of the left one, through and behind the middle, and then we pull. Those of you older kids that are watching, if you want to, my daughter did hers that she did every other side to get the nice look of the cord going through, adding just the little beads for her bracelet. She also made one that goes around her wrist 2 times, and then she made one that hangs out on her ankle, and you can tie a little charm on the bottom if you want to. I'm going to keep going with my design, adding on my beads and learning to tie that knot. Remember, you can always pause this video and watch again if you need to, and rewind it if you need help taking over the top, and then taking that cord that's over the top and going through the middle to create your knot. Continue on till your bracelet gets to be the length of your wrist. When you have your bracelet as long as you need it to be, it's going to be time to do a loop for your button. So your loop for your button is going to be hanging out here. And if you did want to do a little charm on the button, before you cut off that extra thread, you can do that with it. What we're going to do here is right at the end, I'm going to do an overhand knot. So grab both cords that are left, make a loop with them crossing over, and then just like we did with the one single strand, you're going to do both strands underneath that loop that you just made. Go nice and tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up about 1/2 inch and do the same thing. You might need a grown-up's help with this for those of you that are a little bit younger. Cross those 2 threads over the last one, and then take those 2 threads through the middle of the loop. Pull that knot, and there you have a loop for your button to go into. What you can do if you have extra thread there is to separate out, take some of the smaller beads that you want to, tie them onto that bigger wire or your bigger thread if you want to do an overhand knot there. Let them hang out afterwards. Take your scissors, trim down that end. Again, don't waste this end. You can check out the key fob and how to do kind of that sparkler key fob if you want to check out how to use the ends of your wax linen cording. Once you do either 1, 2, cutting off the extra, you have your loop here for your button to fit in size of, and your knotted bracelet is all completed. Whether or not, again, you do big beads, small beads, medium-sized beads, or go really big, you can have fun learning how to knot if you're a younger person, working it with patterns, and really working on your perfection of how to get those knots close if you are a little bit older in age and watching this and want to make something that looks a little bit more sophisticated. Thanks kids so much for watching me and making along this nice knotted bracelet. Remember, there's so many design options with all of the different beads that come in your box. Whether or not you're 5 or 12, you have a lot of options to go through and make, whether or not you're making this as a necklace, a bracelet, an anklet, or even a multiple wraparound to wrap around your wrist twice. This is also a great one if you do want to learn and practice how to make your knots. Remember, if you need any more beads, get your parents to help you check out the links below to shop with us online at PotomacBeads.com. Also, get your parents' permission and have them help you click on the link in the side to get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads, as well as check out some of our other kids' videos to go along with our kids' bead box. As always, you can give us a little thumbs up if you like the video, and also comment below. It's a great way for you to get used to typing, to let us know exactly what you're most excited about in the bead box, and also give us some ideas and ways and things that you did with your bead box. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you later. Until next time. Bye.